Hello and welcome to my capstone presentation. My name is Alec Barron, and the title of my project is Reinventing Recycling: How Drop-Off Sites Can Engage Consumers and Keep Recyclables Out of the Landfill. Many of us know that all too often recycling happens incorrectly and at rates far too low. Recyclable materials are being unnecessarily landfilled at an alarming rate. Luckily, local governments and organizations have begun offering drop-off recycling throughout communities in places like grocery, hardware, and retail stores, as well as pharmacies and government buildings. Drop-off recycling acts as an alternative to waste disposal for materials like plastic film, paint, batteries, light bulbs, and medication, all which are materials uncommonly accepted via curbside recycling. Unfortunately, these programs are being underutilized by residents for a variety of reasons, one of the biggest being a lack of awareness. This study combines field observations and community feedback to analyze how drop-off recycling can be updated for maximized engagement. Below is a photo I took at the Bow Lake Transfer Station in Tukwila. Recyclable materials like aluminum cans, plastic, and cardboard can be seen commingled with the trash, all which will be sent to the Cedar Hills Regional Landfill rather than recycled and recirculated. To guide my research, I set out to answer the following question: what are the challenges to increasing the effectiveness of drop-off recycling sites in King County, and what changes can create the greatest positive impacts? Over the summer, I interned with the King County Solid Waste Division to evaluate drop-off recycling sites and suggest areas for improvement in terms of functionality. For my personal research, I administered a survey to King County residents regarding their perceived obstacles and desires for drop-off recycling. In addition to asking about obstacles and desired changes, I also asked things like zip code, distance traveled to the nearest drop-off recycling center, frequency of those drop-offs, and types of materials commonly recycled, just to get a better idea of recycling behaviors. The results from the survey helped me create a realistic list of recommendations to improve the accessibility and efficiency of drop-off recycling. Out of 180 total respondents, the three biggest obstacles to drop-off recycling, as shown in Figure 2, include making a special trip just to recycle, a lack of drop-off site information, meaning hours of operation, restrictions, and accepted quantity of materials, and difficulty identifying drop-off sites. This could be the location of those sites within stores or in the community in general. Figure 3 illustrates the three most desired changes to drop-off recycling, which includes accepting more recyclables. This means a greater range of materials at each given drop-off site. More accessible site locations, which includes closer proximity, convenience, and placement within frequently visited locations. And lastly, improved drop-off site and recycling information. These results, in addition to information from a literature review I conducted, shed light on three crucial recycling improvements. The first is bolstered recycling legislation. This could include increased extended producer responsibility, or EPR. EPR shifts the burden of waste disposal and recycling to manufacturers of products themselves. This encourages them to use easier to recycle materials in their product design, as well as facilitate greater recycling throughout the community in the form of more drop-off recycling sites. It's also important to have consistent guidelines for recyclable materials between municipalities. Currently, there's great variation between what can be recycled between different cities, and this can confuse residents as to what can be recycled, where it can be recycled, and how it can be recycled. By making this more of a uniform approach, it reduces confusion and increases the recycling rate. It's also important to have efficient and accessible locations. Namely, this can be done through the implementation of neighborhood and community recycling hubs. At each of these hubs, they can be like a one-stop shop where a range of materials can be sorted and recycled at that station. It's important to place these at a very local scale, like within communities and neighborhoods, to ensure being one step closer to breaking down those accessibility barriers. It's also important that these hubs have expanded hours of operation to be conducive to different work schedules, so they must be open later in the evenings and over the weekends. Lastly, it's very important to have clear recycling information. This takes the form of recognizable signage and labeling in stores, at the register, on shelf strips in the aisles, as well as out of stores on products themselves. And these labels and signage can clue consumers into how to take the proper steps to recycle those products. Effective bin design and placement is also extremely important. Figures 4 and 5 on the right are two examples of drop-off bins I saw during site visits over the summer. Figure 4 is a fantastic example of a drop-off bin. It uses bright colors, clear signage with images and icons of what is and what is not accepted in the bin, and it's placed right next to the store entrance for maximized awareness and accessibility. Meanwhile, Figure 5 is a poor example of a drop-off bin. It's located in the back of the bathroom hallway, so it's not going to get noticed very much. It uses dull colors, it looks more like a cabinet than a recycling bin, and it has very minimal signage. So these are just some key characteristics to keep in mind when designing and placing drop-off bins in certain stores and throughout the community. Finally, I'd like to thank my co-intern Elena, my site supervisors and faculty advisor, friends and roommates, and my family for supporting this process and fueling my passion for this research. Thank you.